From the New York Post, Gordon Ramsay's London pub taken over by squatters. Absolute nightmare scenario. So we always have a current thing. I guess this is the current thing now. We had Diddy for a little bit. We had plane malfunctions. We had crazy plane lady. The list goes on and on. But now squatters are all the rage. It's happening in New York. Apparently it's happening in London as well. They say Gordon Ramsay once said he doesn't run restaurants that are out of control, but that's apparently not the case at one of his London eateries. So sounds like from the beginning, I mean, I guess we all kind of know him as a no-nonsense guy, you know, the stupid sandwich.
You.
An idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich what?
An idiot sandwich, Chef Ramsay.
All sorts of stuff, completely made himself famous by screaming at people. But a swarm of squatters have shacked up inside the celebrity chef $16.1 million pub using Ramsay's own kitchen appliances to barricade themselves in. This is actually crazier than I thought. They're sleeping in the kitchen and shoving kitchen appliances up against the door. Shocking photographs taken by The Sun show the professional squatters holed up inside York and Albany pub, which the Hell's Kitchen host was about to sign over to new partners in a multi-million-dollar deal. Okay, so that makes sense. I guess maybe they weren't using it at the time. He was about to sell it to somebody else. But let's take a look at these photos real quick. The Sun.co.uk or whatever. All right, yeah, it looks like a migrant shelter, migrant hotel, airport squalor scene. Wow. All right. Well, I guess I didn't really know what to expect. You can look at photos from the migrant hotels, the Row Hotel in New York City, and of course you will find that it's basically a frat house. There's a bunch of beers and food thrown away. It's a baby mill. It's completely disgusting. I guess this is one of the guys, one of the squatters. All right. This is wild. Okay, so that's all the pictures. Let's go back to the article. One person was seen barefoot and sprawled across a black leather sofa on the restaurant with their personal belongings and debris, including empty wine bottles strewn across the floor. Okay, yeah, so a bunch of drunks and dope fiends. Squatters. Classic, par for the course. What appears to be a filthy plush dog is seen tossed on the floor near the swanky front bar that months earlier had been adorned with fresh flowers and pricey cocktails. So I guess it really didn't take that long, couple months earlier. So these people announced a sale, or Gordon Ramsay announced a sale to another restaurant. These squatters got hold of it and were fairly quickly holed up in there. I guess that's it. Another disheveled-looking man sporting two black eyes, a massive hoodie, flip-flops, and athletic tape wrapped around his knee was also seen. I think that was the picture from the other article there. It's an absolute nightmare scenario. Poor Gordon, a source told the UK outlet Thursday. The pub was temporarily closed while he was finalizing a new lease during his handover period. A gang of professional squatters somehow bypassed the security and CCTV, got themselves... How is this even a squatting situation? This is... I mean, it's quite obviously just a crime. It's one thing if you have a roommate that doesn't want to leave when you tell them to leave, or the previous tenant maybe, or a family fight. But it seems like these people just broke in after they knew the place was vacant, and now they're squatters. They're not... I mean, they're just criminals, but whatever. And I guess, for better or for worse... The UK is maybe a little bit worse on the woke-tard scale, and then Canada might even be in front of that. I always say that Canada is leading the crazy train, but they've now bombarded themselves in the building and are slowly taking over the place, leaving their crap everywhere and brazenly telling locals this is their home. Absolute insanity. And maybe this was happening the whole time, and I said this when there was a flurry, like 2 weeks worth of plane falling apart stories. Was this happening the whole time and I just didn't know? A lot of people didn't know. Have people been squatting this entire time? This is not even in America. It's obviously an American story. Ron DeSantis is signing some sort of bill, which may or may, I mean, that might be a little bit of political theater, but obviously there's a guy who makes a living removing squatters from California.
Flash Shelton. Flash's mom's home was vacant, so a squatter moved in. She brought in all of her stuff, so Flash found out and he staked the house out. Got there real early in the morning, waited until the squatter left, then he swooped in, put some cameras up, and when the squatter came back, he confronted her. Watch.
I haven't been able to do anything with this house for months because every time they come over here, they tell me that there's people here and that there's furniture in the house.
And then the lady got arrested for trying to kick the squatters out of her house and lock her door in New York. So has this been going on the whole time and it's now getting in the news cycle, so we're hearing a whole bunch more about it? Either way, it's not good, right? Because if it's been happening and we didn't know, it was still happening, and the media has been pretty bad at reporting it, and now they're trying to maybe course correct and report it more than it needs to be. And if it's new, that's also bad because it's a new version of crime. So it's a lose-lose. They've glued tight all the locks and are cooking up a storm in the kitchen, which is especially galling for Gordon.
An idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich what?
An idiot sandwich, Chef Ramsay.
The insider said there are at least 6 professional squatters, 5 men and 1 woman, one they, them, living inside the restaurant and its attached bedrooms. God knows the damage and filth, said the source. Ramsay has reportedly called police to obtain an eviction notice, but it's proving an absolute nightmare. The squatters themselves have threatened legal action against anyone who tries to force them out. How is that possible? Calling themselves the occupiers, fitting, I guess, the group slapped a notice on the front door claiming they are entitled to stay in the pub because it's a non-residential building. What is that? What difference does it mean? You're not, okay.
I'm figuring.
Take notice that we occupy this property, and at all times there's at least one person in occupation, the notice reads. If you attempt to enter by violence or by threatening violence, we will prosecute you. You may receive a sentence of up to This is crazy. They're quite literally just doing a crime and then telling you it's a crime to try to stop them. You may receive a sentence of up to 6 months imprisonment and or a fine of up to 5,000 pounds, I guess, or $6,200. The situation has left the notoriously foul-mouthed television chef at the end of his feather. Not surprisingly, a few choice words have been said, the source told The Sun. Absolutely crazy. A representative for Ramsay did not immediately respond to the Post's request for comment. The restaurant takeover is not the first time the York and Albany pub proved to be a massive headache for Ramsay. The MasterChef star was embroiled in an unsuccessful legal battle to free himself from the lease in 2015 that put his family... So he wanted to get out, and he couldn't get out. Now there's people in there, and they can't get them out. He was ordered to pay $797,000 in rent after his father-in-law, Christopher Hutchinson, allegedly used a ghostwriter machine to sign Ramsay's name. Wow. So this guy's getting... So his family or father-in-law screwed him over by forging his name. He wanted to get out of the lease but couldn't. And now there's people in there and he wants them out but can't get... This is crazier than I thought it would be. Hutchinson, 75, had been chief executive of Ramsay's restaurant empire until his embezzling habits were discovered in 2010. The fraudulent father-in-law spent 6 months in prison in 2017. Wow, I didn't even realize, he's got this weirdo, backward, corrupt family, and I guess this is what you get. This is what the global elites want you to deal with when you try to run a business on your own. They will get you themselves, or, as we know by now, the regular common street thugs will find a way to get you. And here, sticking with the theme of international crazy, Toronto wants to manage storms and floods with a rain tax. Outcry reached such a crescendo last week that the city canceled public hearings on the tax, which is intended to help offset the hundreds of millions spent managing stormwater and basement flooding. So we've always made the joke, right? They're eventually going to tax the air you breathe. There's bridge tolls going through the roof. There's congestion pricing. It's just nonstop. They want a tax for absolutely everything, and likely not going to fix anything, right? I believe New York City is one of the few cities in the entire country, if not the only one, to charge a city tax on top of the state and the federal, and it's still disgusting. There's garbage cans, there's rats everywhere. Where's the money going, right? Ask Bill de Blasio, Comrade Warren Wilhelm, and his wife, what she couldn't find $850 million. Where did the money go? But that's a completely different story. In Toronto, they're going to tax the rain. All right. A plan to charge Toronto homeowners businesses for paved surfaces on their properties is creating a public backlash. Yeah, so even the Canadians are like, no, we're not doing that. A deluge of negative international media attention and even derisive comments from everything comes back to Donald Trump every single time. A tax on the rain in Canada is somehow rolled in with Donald Trump Jr., I guess in this case. The outcry reached such a crescendo last week, the city canceled public hearings on the tax, which is intended to help offset the hundreds. Yeah, that's what they said. Dubbed the rain tax by critics, including the former U.S. president's son, on X, a Sky News host also condemned the plan and discouraged people from visiting Canada's largest city, saying, "You thought it couldn't get any worse? Don't go to Toronto because they're going to tax you when it rains." Yes, and they're going to tax you to breathe. The amount of hard surface area would determine the contentious stormwater charge on a property which does not absorb water, such as roofs, driveways, parking lots, or concrete landscaping. When we get a big rainstorm, basements flood, roads flood, sewage overflows and runs into the lake or on our rivers, said Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow in an online video post on X. Stormwater slides off paved surfaces instead of absorbing into the ground. It overwhelms our water infrastructure, causes damage to your home. So, is this new? Did it just start raining in Toronto a year or two ago? What are you talking about? The new fee, of course, so the fee is new, but the rain certainly is not new. The new fee would adjust water bills to reduce water consumption rates and add a stormwater charge based on property size and hard surface area. Online public consultations were allowed to be followed by public meetings. However, after less than a week, the online consultations were paused and public meetings canceled. The city claims the delay is needed so staff can find a way to marry the new fee with the city's broader climate resilience strategy. There you go. The climate communism in full effect. Absolutely crazy. So yeah, you're going to pay a tax for rain, and then that's going to help climate change. This is just ridiculous. Who's buying this? Right? I can't imagine. It's all over. I can't imagine there's anybody left, right? Maybe some high school kids, but even then, there's got to be enough TikTok videos that get into the algorithm debunking. Now I'm anyways, proving all of this stuff absolute nonsense. Climate resilience strategy. That's a completely made up Democrat doublespeak euphemism if I've ever heard one, but I guess in this particular case, it's a Canadian and not a Democrat. But Chow said she would prefer the city offer residents financial incentives to plant gardens in their backyards or to install permeable pavement to... Okay, so that's like Pete Buttigieg. Oh, gas too high? Just buy an electric car, right? So, yeah, how about instead of paying the tax, you just completely uproot the foundation of your house and put in a new driveway? I mean, I'm no construction manager, but you're going to install a new type of pavement to stop the rain? What? I don't think it's fair to have a stormwater policy that asks homeowners to pay while letting businesses with massive parking lots off the hook. Oh yeah, she's for the little guy. Many businesses with large paved areas such as parking lots pay no water bills and therefore do not contribute to stormwater management. Wait, a water bill that's running into your business or running into your home is completely different from a tax that you want to charge people because their driveway won't absorb water. That is why I'm asking Toronto Water to come back to City Council with a plan that supports more green infrastructure, prevents flooding, and keeps your water bills low. Yeah, the green infrastructure is definitely not going to keep the water bill low. And I think in Canada, it's like the inflation and the food prices are even worse than America, but they're just going to gaslight you to no end because they think you're stupid, or at least they're hoping you're stupid and you're going to buy all of this nonsense. In last year's city budget, a 10-year plan, 2023 to 2033, allocated $4.3 billion for stormwater management, including the $2.1 billion basement flooding protection program last year alone. The city invested $225.3 million in the basement program. Other nearby cities like Mississauga, Vaughan, and Markham have had stormwater charges for a long time. Oh, so it's regular. We've been doing this for a long time. Just get on board. Cut us the check. In an email response, the city of Vaughan said its stormwater charge supports numerous programs and initiatives across the city to help protect the environment. If you wanted to protect somebody, you could at least protect people, but they'd rather protect the quote unquote environment than the people. But also, it doesn't really matter, because when they try to protect the people, it's all a scam. It's the same thing, right? It's like the old clip of the trash can and the recycler in one bin, but they have two open lids, but it's obviously not separated. I digress. Different story. Vaughan's to help protect the environment, property, and water quality. Nowhere do they say they want to protect people at all. They're just going to bleed you dry for the sake of the environment. Vaughan's 2024 stormwater rate is $24.20 annually for a detached single residential unit, an increase from last year's rate of $58.63. Okay, $5, whatever. On its website, the city of Mississauga says funds collected from the stormwater charge contribute to its budget and are used exclusively for stormwater services and programs. I bet they're not, right? This is the epitome of corruption. Oh yeah, we're gonna fix the water bill. You need to pay us another tax because there's flooding, and then oh yeah, it all goes to fixing the sewage. Yeah, sure, okay. Like Newsom, right? Just the picture of oh yeah, pass Prop 1, $6 billion, so we're gonna help homelessness. But we all know that he's got a plan. As mayor of San Francisco, Governor Greaseball scumbag bang your wife Gavin Newsom has had a plan to end homelessness in San Francisco since 2008.
Problem of those that are out on the streets that we define as homeless, we better solve the housing problem if we're going to have an impact. And that's why we established this framework, what we call a 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness in San Francisco.
That, of course, came and went. Where were we? Environmental advocates say Torontonians already pay to manage storm and floodwater, and point out the current billing system lacks equity because it is based on the amount of water usage. What? Isn't that what it's supposed to be? Businesses and properties that have more paved areas, like parking lots, from which more stormwater drains, don't pay for it. However, a well-designated stormwater charge can potentially reduce water bills for people with smaller properties and promote fairness in billing. Fairness in billing. Just say it. You're doing communism. Fairness in billing, and the equity of water, the equity of usage, because it's based on how much water you actually use. What else would it be based on? People in condos and apartments or small lots, for example, will all pay less on their overall water bills in most stormwater charge systems. Oh yeah, we're gonna tax the rich. We're gonna tax the business owners until they all leave and there's nothing left. Said okay, people in condos and apartments or small lots, for example, will all pay less on their overall water bills in most stormwater charge systems. Said Sarah Buchanan, campaigns director of Toronto Environmental Alliance. Useless bureaucracy, I'm sure. While some businesses currently get off scot-free, a stormwater charge would ensure they contribute more, while others who don't create an expensive flooding problem would save, she added. Of course, this is political speak for we're going to charge the businesses more, but it's not going to harm the regular folks, even though it quite obviously is going to be the squeeze on everybody. Buchanan emphasizes that a well-designed stormwater charge creates a cost-saving incentive. Oh, this is what they always, it's always this, it's same, but different, right? Eric Adams says, we're going to give migrants debit cards because it's going to save us money. Okay, bro. For owners to convert large paved areas to green spaces by reducing pavement, they'll save money on their water bills while making the city greener. Yeah, I mean, gas prices through the roof. Go ahead and buy an electric car. But we're also going to hike the price of electricity because we're California. I digress. By reducing pavement, they'll save money. Yeah, okay. Fewer people will wake up to flooded basements. Oh, we're going to save your life. You're going to save money. Your basement's not going to be flooded. It's going to be amazing. Just pay us a little bit more money. There would not be as many incidents of combined sewer overflows. Oh, yeah. We're going to save you from sewage, flooding, everything, and you're going to save money. Really? I doubt it. I doubt it. I've not done any more looking into it than this propagandistic article, but I doubt any of that's true. Less pavement also means a reduction in extreme heat, since paved areas make our city hotter through the urban heat island effect. As climate change escalates, these people are despicable. I mean, you have to respect the hustle. They ride with it till the end. The more reality flies in the face of their agenda, the more they double down. As much as I can't stand it, I also cannot imagine being that committed to any one line of insanity. Well, it's several lines of insanity, all going towards one totalitarian end. As climate change escalates, heat and flooding are getting worse every year, and we need workable solutions now. We need something now. And we know that flood, climate change, drought, climate change, tornado, climate change, hurricane, climate change, earthquake, climate change, eclipse, climate change.
All those things together would maybe lead one to believe that, either climate change exists
That's more
or
the point.
something is really going on.
returning. Earthquakes are not at the mercy of climate change. It's underground.
It happens, and the eclipse, they've known about the eclipse coming because eclipses happen.
Everything climate change, which is why it is even more despicable than the extreme gender ideology, because as much as somebody is rabid and has bought into that, when they see the photos, when they start taking the pills, when stuff starts happening to them, they're going to have no choice but to at least admit, even if you like it, if you're a weirdo glutton for punishment, you still have to admit that it's all completely crazy. But with this, the goalpost will just completely, it's in the wind, quite literally. Buchanan said it cost the city a lot to manage stormwater, prevent basement flooding, and protect ravines from erosion. These aren't free, and the property owners of big paved lots who are causing the most damage to the system should be paying into the work instead of getting a free ride, said Buchanan. So this is like a weirdo dystopian tax tied in with climate change to make sure that you sacrifice even more of your hard-earned cash, even in America's hat, in Canada, in Toronto, to make sure that these people get their way. And it's only a matter of minutes now before the squatters take over Toronto.